Alrighty, welcome back. So we're going to be looking at the part 2 section. Sorry, finishing my pineapple. So I recorded this before and then went over the time limit and it stopped. So we're just going to do it nice and quickly now. I'm going to go through just one paragraph of it. If I get time, I'll go through the other. Otherwise, I'll just write up the second paragraph that I was going to do. And you can see it. So this is what I wrote in earlier. I sort of just wrote a sentence and for myself that was kind of related to this bit here. So show the relationship between the snake and the narrator. And I was just reminding myself what we see is that relationship. So a simple sentence at the start, you can do it as an introduction. You can do it in your notes just for yourself, whatever suits you. I find it easier for me just to clarify and focus for myself. So while you're writing your response, you may find it helpful to go back into the success criteria, scroll back up and just remind yourself what's required for the grade that you are aiming at. So everyone should be aiming for merit, without a doubt. If you're an excellent student, by all means go for it. I mean, obviously excellence is what we want for everyone, a little bit harder to get, so definitely aim for merit. So what I want to focus on to begin with is looking at the relationship. So I want to go just straight to the first paragraph, I think the first stanza. Why not? And I said before that I quite like that description, so I'm going to go with that. It's got use of adjectives, so I'm going to go with that. So we'll start with that. Great black snake. Dun, dun, dun. So obviously I'm going to put that into a sentence. So the writer, poet, uses adjectives to help show the relationship between the snake and the narrator. Okay, so I'm using these things here. I highlighted it for myself before. If you have a highlighter in the exams, by all means go for it. Otherwise, just underline it. It just reinforces it for you. If you haven't got that in there and you haven't got an example in there or you haven't got a because in there, you're probably not going to do as well. You need to keep relating it back. It's just like in an essay. So the writer uses adjectives to help show the relationship between the snake and the narrator. An example of this is, I'm going to put my nice quote there. The adjectives great and black help to show how descriptive the narrator is. This means they are paying close attention to the snake. Oh yeah, okay, so that's a nice achieved sort of response. Yeah, so we'll add another sentence onto that. We'll make it a little bit more descriptive, a little bit more linking to the wider idea. So looking more at merit. The fact that they are describing the snake means they are taking time to watch it carefully. In addition to this, the use of the word great implies that they are somewhat in awe of the snake's size or presence. This helps to show that the snake is a powerful creature. Not only in the description of it, but also because it stopped some people in their track and they are amazed. Okay, so it's just slightly different to the one that I wrote before. I will copy and paste it in maybe on the side just so you can see what I initially had before I started blathering away. So the fact they're describing the snake means they're taking the time to watch it carefully. In addition to this, the use of the word great implies they're somewhat in awe of the snake's size or presence. Great, definitely popping me into merit there. I've gone further than just my initial explanation here. This is a bit of a surface one. I've gone a little bit further. I've looked more at the language used. I'm definitely there. This helps to show that snake is a powerful creature, not only in the description of it, but also because it stops some people in their track and they are amazed. Yeah, definitely building towards excellence at this stage. Yeah, so what you could do from here is you could continue to talk about the power that the snake has over these people. Options. Continue to talk about how the snake has power over the narrator. Could look at the use of verbs, reeling. There's another one in the second stanza which I can't remember right now. And how the movements, how the narrator describes movements. I could look at the contrasts with the final stanza, which is what I want to do. So if I get a chance, I will write that in for you. And just look at how they stopped, watched, and moved on. Has the snake had an impact at all? So that's the idea that I quite like for looking into that E8 territory. If we're looking back into this mark scheme, we're looking at a strong understanding of writer's craft. And I like the idea that if we're looking at a writer's craft, we're looking from start to finish at the whole text. So that's why I quite like, and it also shows an appreciation for how that changes and how it has a development, which I think is interesting. In terms of a wider world connection, you could talk about your own fear that you could have. You could really just go wherever with that. I would be really afraid of a snake. I don't imagine that I would, go on afterwards. I imagine I would be a little bit scared. Otherwise, you could talk, we scarcely thought, still as we stood. So that's some nice sibilance. If you actually read through this poem again, it's really interesting. You may not pick it up if it was in an exam. But there's lots of really nice S sounds. So if you imagine a snake is hissing. If you put a purposeful hiss sound into it, that you will get there. So sun warmed in the late season's grace, under the autumn's gentlest sky, we walked and half froze, half through a pace. The great black snake went reeling by. Head down, tongue flickering on the trail, he quested through the parting grass. Sun glazed his curves of diamond scale, and we lost breath to see him pass. In addition to this, you may choose to look at structure, which is one of the things that I did here. I didn't break it down in the annotation. I ran out of time and I wasn't thinking about it, but you could definitely look at how the rhyme scheme changes and look at that as an impact of the snake. And what is that a reflection of? But yeah, by all means, if you are at a achieved merit level kind of student, look at this first one, how the snake has power, how it's made to sound amazing, how it's made to look amazing, all that jazz. If you're looking at, sorry, I'm eating a grape, the higher ones here, they're also perfectly fine. So I will copy in what I had on the side, and then I will finish this paragraph for you to come back to. So hopefully that is vaguely helpful. Ta-da!